Hi, lovely and darling viewers. It's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm reviewing Chasing Vermeer by Blue Balliett. The actual book is illustrated by Brett Helquist, but I listened to the audiobook for this, which is narrated by Ellen Reilly. This is a J fiction children's book. It is an art history mystery. It follows two 11-year-olds, Calder and Petra, as they start investigating a missing Vermeer painting, and all sorts of weird, crazy coincidences start happening that they follow clues for to try to find the missing painting. So Petra and Calder are kind of loners at the beginning of the book. Calder's best friend Tommy has just moved to New York and he's kind of feeling left behind and alone, and doesn't feel like he has anybody he can relate to. And then Petra lives on his street. They're in the same class together, and Petra doesn't seem to have any friends. She's a little too eccentric, I think. Petra really wants to be a writer and is obsessed with trying to find the story and like investigating things. And she discovers this book filled with unexplainable circumstances, and she starts looking for unexplainable circumstances like coincidences in her own life. And she mentions this to Calder, who really loves solving puzzles and mysteries. So Calder joins her on her investigation, and they start trying to find coincidences in their lives. And they end up finding a lot of coincidences that revolve around this painting, Lady in Writing by Vermeer. And like Petra has a dream about this lady and decides to dress as her as Halloween, even though she's never actually seen the painting before. And then later they find out that the painting has gone missing. And so these two kids feel this urge to find the painting and save the lady in writing. And while I have the illustration up, Brett Helquist has hidden clues in the illustrations, which listening to the audiobook I totally missed, but I think it's kind of cool. So there are like live animals that give you clues to what's going on hidden in the paintings. Like there's a frog here. And these things called Pentominoes, which Calder is obsessed with, also make an appearance in the paintings and illustrations. So these are what the Pentominoes are. They're a set of 12 Tetris-like plastic pieces, each made up of 5 squares, and each one represents a letter, and they also assemble into different shapes. And Calder is obsessed with trying to get different sized rectangles and squares made out of these shapes. And sometimes he sticks his hand in his pocket and just grabs a random pentomino and uses the letter that it represents and then tries to come up with words that start with that letter. And these become part of their process for solving the mystery, which I kind of love, being like a mathematical geometry type person. The way that this works with the words and the clues, that's kind of a fun little touch. And there's the original Vermeer painting if you're interested. Don't know how it's showing up with the screen, but I know my white balance just went off. Basically, this is a kid's mystery. There's a lot of adventure, a lot of their clues, they're looking for things in Chicago around them, and their school that they go to, and their teacher is this eccentric 6th grade teacher who doesn't believe in like having a normal curriculum, which I'm not entirely sure how she gets away with. She's just like, what do you guys want to learn about today? And so they start learning about Vermeer when this Vermeer painting goes missing, and like the entire country becomes obsessed with trying to find it. We also have this older character, Mrs. Sharp, who also lives on Calder and Petra's street, and she is a fan of Vermeer, and the author of the book that Petra originally finds, Charles Fort. And so she is also interested in mysterious circumstances and coincidences, so she becomes this unlikely friend to them and mentor. On the whole, this book is really cute and sweet. It kept me guessing. I didn't really know who committed the crime or where the painting was hidden, so I was surprised when I got to the end, which I really love mysteries that are not completely predictable, so thumbs up for that. I really liked Petra and Calder both as characters, and the book is just, it's fun, it's light. It's definitely a children's book though, so if you're not into children's books, give this one a pass. So the way that Brett Helquist has like kept clues in the illustration sounds really cool. I'm kind of disappointed that I missed out on that by listening to the audiobook. Like I didn't know that was a thing going into this. Yeah, there's not a lot else to say about this book other without like spoiling what clues they come up with and stuff. These kids are really smart, they're very clever, and it's quirky. Definitely got a good adventure story going on in here. So if you're into a children's art history type mystery book going on in here, this could be your next awesome read. It was recommended to me by one of the librarians at work when I told her that I really loved Under the Egg by Laura Marks Fitzgerald. So if you loved this one, you should check out that book also, or if you loved that book, check out this one, basically. I learned a lot about Vermeer. Honestly, I didn't know a lot about him as a painter, so that was cool. And the history of his paintings in museums and stuff. I fact-checked a lot of the stuff when the book was done, and I'm like, hey, that's pretty accurate. And I'm really intrigued by his painting style. Yeah. There's my review for Chasing Vermeer by Blue Balliett. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, and it was totally worth the time I spent with it. It's a children's book, so it's kind of short. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have read this book, or planning on reading this, or if you have a child who's actually read it, because I'm kind of curious what they actually think of this book. Like, it's always interesting as an adult reading a children's book to find out what children took away from that book that I also read, and whether or not we caught on to the same stuff. Peace out. I love you guys, and keep reading. Bye.